We hate grapplers in the UFC. Grappling sucks. Alex Periera and Khalil Rountree proved it with a collective one grapple between the two of them in their whole career. Grappling is the most hated part of mixed martial arts.
UFC 307, the crowd booed every single grappling exchange. In the prelims, there are very egregious breaks on the cage, the most egregious I've ever seen. 5 seconds of sticking a guy to a cage, which is a super legal technique. It's a way you can win a match. Separation, every single grappling exchange, boo! And this worked out nicely for the hero of UFC 307, Khalil Rountree Jr.
What'd you think?
He really came out ahead in this one. He looked incredible. He hit Poatan a couple times, but everybody agrees Poatan right now is invincible, and he hits harder than anybody. The ref told Joe Rogan that the sound Poatan makes when he hits is ungodly. Khalil Rountree Jr., absolute legend in a losing effort, and grappling sucks. Doesn't work. If someone tries it, you should boo them.
Yeah, just boo them.
It's crazy.
But before we get to why grappling is trash, Periera, again, is the golden boy of the UFC. Hits like a rock. Khalil Rountree made a valiant effort. Arguably, he won the first 3 rounds of the match. He was connecting. He landed 2 clean head kicks on Periera. He even dropped Periera momentarily in the match. But his punches just didn't have the same pop as Periera. Periera was getting hurt a little bit every time he walked in, and Rountree with his counter striking was really good.
Yeah.
He's really fast and really sharp, but he just doesn't have rocks in his hands the same way that Periera does. And you could see that Pereira's experience over all these years of kickboxing, the patience to wait till the last round to bank all those leg kicks, those low calf kicks, and banking all those low calf kicks, it eventually worked. Towards the end, Rountree was not as mobile as before, and by the end, he was a sitting duck.
Yeah. He got pieced apart. By the end, he had another nose opening up here, and he had 2 more eyelids on here. Kind of the most gruesome face at the end of a fight that we've seen in a long time. But, like we say, valiant effort, went out on a shield. His body just quit on him. And standing ovation, absolute legend, Khalil Rountree Jr. And Poatan, like, we didn't hear this ahead of time, but he came into this fight sick. He was on antibiotics. He had a rib injury, a toe injury. He's pretty messed up, this guy. Showed no signs of it in the fight. Did his classic stare down, no blinking.
Yes.
The no blinking stare. It's one of his best techniques.
The walkout dance.
The walkout
I had to
dance.
look up his song, Sepultura. I can't remember the name of the song. I'll put it here, but dope song. Yeah, Sepultura. I believe they're a Brazilian thrash band.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of my skater friends used to listen to Sepultura back in high school. But no grappling there. Great match. It lived up to the hype. Amazing.
Rest of the card, I'd say lackluster. Not the best performance. Periera saves the day. Makes everything worth it. No other matches are really of note. We kind of watched this card thinking, oh, maybe we'll break down a cool submission. All early prelims.
Yes, I want to vent a little bit on this anti-grappling take. So after the press conference, Dana came out and said, the refereeing was atrocious.
Agreed.
The judging was atrocious.
Agreed.
What did you think of the judging in the co-main event? I mean, it seemed to me.
I thought your judging tonight was atrocious. Yeah. Felt like I was at a boxing match in Ireland tonight.
Yeah.
But part of what he hated about the reffing was that there were not enough breakups, especially in the Aldo fight.
In the 3rd round, Mario came out and sort of went for a takedown. Referee separated them, immediately go straight for the takedown again. Do you think the referee could have been more active in quitting on the stalling there?
I always think that the referee should be more active on that, 100%, especially when somebody keeps doing it to stall. If you're judging on a guy, whether it's control, if it's this or that, if you're not trying to fight, how do you win the fight? right? And if you're looking at attempted takedowns, well, what about stuffing the takedowns? Just madness.
There is a difference between offensive grappling and just wasting time.
100%.
And it's not just the referees that need to recognize that, but clearly the judges as well.
When you can tell that the guy definitely doesn't want to stand and strike and just wants to stall against the fence. Yes, the refs, that's their job. They're supposed to see it. When they see it continually happening and that the guy is not trying to win the fight, then you keep breaking them up.
Now, the Aldo fight, what'd you think of that?
I thought it was fine. So Mario Bautista, Jose Aldo's much younger, much up-and-coming opponent, had a good strategy. He blitzed Aldo, swinging punches and shooting double legs. He wasn't trying just to hold him against the cage, but that's what ended up happening. Jose Aldo, legendary takedown defense.
I think his takedown defense is something like 98 or 96% takedown
Against
defense.
some of the best wrestlers ever.
Yeah.
Marab couldn't take him down.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was an absolute masterclass by Jose Aldo not being taken down. But what ended up happening is Bautista was stuck him against the cage and was unable to finish a takedown, which I think is real. That's real life. And it's not a big victory. It's not a dominant victory for Bautista, but it is winning. If one guy sticks the guy against the cage and the other guy doesn't want to be on the cage, but he's there, that's a small victory. It's not a lot. The controversy comes in the third round when Jose Aldo, I didn't know this until I looked at the stats, he landed more strikes and then got stuck up against the cage, which that's a good debate. Which one is more, a couple strikes or stuck up against the cage? I don't know. That's a good debate.
I mean, I think Bautista was doing pretty good with the striking.
Yeah.
And he was doing well with the takedown defense. The offense.
He's trying.
He was trying.
Almost
Aldo,
got 2 takedowns in the third.
Yeah,
almost.
Aldo could not get off of the fence. Aldo was trying to get off the fence.
Yeah.
Aldo was trying to move. I think Aldo may have also been waiting for the ref to break them up.
It's terrible strategy. Don't do that.
Genius takedown defense. This guy needs to run a clinic on how he does it. And he does it on one leg.
Yeah.
Like, he stands on one leg, he puts one leg against the fence. Sometimes he'll even put one leg against his other leg. Like, he'll do stuff like this.
Doing yoga.
When some guy's trying to take him down, he puts it on the fence.
Nobody else can do it quite like Aldo. And so that's to be celebrated, but takedown defense isn't a victory.
Yeah, and takedown defense is not offense. So I see the argument. People are saying that if you shoot a takedown and the guy defends the takedown, you didn't score the takedown, so that's not worth something. But I disagree. I think aggression in all of its forms should be rewarded. Cage control is what they say is part of the scoring system.
Yeah.
I didn't see Aldo controlling the pace of anything very much. He was doing very well in the striking.
So you mean you thought Bautista won?
I thought Bautista won.
Oh,
I
okay,
did not.
okay.
I did not. Meaning, I did not see the. I didn't see the controversy until I went to the socials, and also when I heard Dana saying that he didn't like that judgment.
There's an argument.
Conor McGregor also chimed in saying that the whole idea of holding somebody against the fence, that should be banned or that should be penalized. I think that wrestling is already penalized. A, because you start standing, and B, because when you do wrestle somebody, and if you're only wrestling them and not striking with them, there's a good chance you're going to get stood up. So I think there's already a lot of punishment and penalty for being a wrestler.
Yeah, I think one thing that makes it hard is there's no clear rule on what constitutes a stand-up. It's like it's wildly inconsistent.
It's very much up to the ref.
Yeah, and if the crowd's booing or like, and so I've never seen a stand-up that I thought was legit until in the prelims, this girl Lucinda had a pretty good jiu-jitsu, pretty good takedowns, and she had this girl on full mount, and she stuck her chin into the other girl's eye, like really aggressively, and the ref stood him up. He's like, "Don't do that." That's the only time I've seen it.
Is that an eye poke? Is that an eye gouge?
It's something, yeah. It's like it happened in the olden days of the UFC. Mark Kerr did it. And he took a guy's, stuck his chin in the eye, and the UFC's like, all right, no more of that. That's the only stand-up I've seen that was like somewhat justified. But I've never seen someone like in half guard and been like, stand these guys up. I've never seen someone on the cage been like, oh, they should break this up. Because there are other sports where it would be justified. ONE FC does Muay Thai in a cage. And so in Muay Thai, or kickboxing, or if it's boxing, and they're stuck against the cage, sure, the ref is supposed to, they have rules about it. It's 3 seconds, then you stick them up. And if they're doing over-under control, you got 3 seconds, then you break them apart. It's regimented. And the UFC could be doing this. They could have kickboxing matches in the ring like ONE FC, but they're saying they're doing MMA, and MMA, all things legal.
It's supposed to be mixed, but
It's super mixed, so you're supposed to be allowed to. A path to victory is stick a guy against the cage, take him down, land damage, work for a submission. It's hard. It's a hard life. Very difficult to do and should be rewarded.
I think
Sounded like a fart. That was me moving my leg. It's a little sweaty here.
I think people like the idea of no holds barred mixed martial arts, but when the martial arts actually do get mixed, there are some complaints, and I kind of understand it. Grappling is hard to understand.
Sure.
It's hard to see, wow, you see how he's putting his head on that guy's shoulder? That's real control there. I could see why that's not as interesting as a KO. The women's fight, Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena. First of all, apologies to Raquel Pennington. Last week, I was like, she's not champion. But she was champion. But maybe I was predicting the future.
It also just goes to show, like, who cares about this division in some ways, right? Props to them. They're making a living doing what they love, I hope. She won a belt. But
I think there's just
not so exciting.
There's not an exciting, like when... Like Rhonda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey was exciting. Amanda Nunes was exciting. Valentina Shevchenko's still exciting. And Kayla Harrison is exciting. She also fought on the card. And it wasn't the best fight. It was a real fight for her. She got bloodied up. She had some nice takedowns.
She got a knot on her head, too.
She got a big knot on her head.
Yeah.
So for the championship fight, Raquel Pennington against Juliana Pena, what do you think? What was your take?
I thought it was an absolute robbery for
Really?
Raquel Pennington. I thought, I mean, I could see an argument for how it was close. So Juliana Pena had some good grappling exchanges. She got Pennington's back a few times, but she wasn't really able to threaten anything from the back. And Pennington, I think, was piecing her up on the feet.
Yeah, landed some bombs.
She had her in trouble. She knocked her down. I didn't even see that. Like, for both of these matches, I didn't see why there was a split decision. Maybe I need to rewatch them. I thought Pennington...
You're not going to rewatch that fight.
Probably not. I rarely rewatch any fights unless it's like an Anderson Silva.
It would have to be so fun.
Yeah, it has to be. They have to be doing some ninja stuff. But I thought Pennington was a clear winner. Dana White agreed with me on that. He said that he thought the judging was terrible, but he also said he thought the judging was terrible in the Aldo match. But I don't think that Aldo won that match. Aldo did amazing. He took pretty much no damage, just because it was such a wrestling match, and he was able to fight off all the takedowns. But he was defending for pretty much the whole fight. But yeah, back to the women's fight. I didn't really see the argument for why Pennington lost that match. I didn't see why she lost her belt. Juliana Pena, her and Pennington, they have a bit of a history. They kind of don't like each other. I watched when they were both on The Ultimate Fighter. They have some bad blood in between them. Juliana Pena is a little bit of an unlikable person. She says some unlikable things, so I don't love her as champion, and I don't think that she won that.
Who knows and who cares? We try to appreciate all these fighters, but this one was hard. I've been watching with my girlfriend, and I was trying to tell her, like, oh, this fight's fun. This championship fight I'm not really interested in. And she's Taiwanese, so her language is not English, right? She goes, what are you, racist? It's like, no, the word is sexist, and that's not the issue. It's just these particular fighters, like Kayla Harrison's fun, Shevchenko's fun, but this one particularly, and my girlfriend tried to make a big point, like, no, it's gonna be so fun.
You don't like the female
and
race.
she fell asleep. She fell asleep watching, trying to prove that these girls are great. And there were good moments, right? Like the Pennington did land some bombs. Pena did have some good takedowns.
Neither of them are very powerful.
They're not dominant.
And neither of them are like
super charismatic.
None of them are charismatic, and neither of them are like high-level grapplers where you're just like, wow, look at what she did. Neither of them are poetry in motion. They are on top, but I think Kayla Harrison, mark my words, will wash both of them.
Yeah. And so I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And there was a funny moment in the interview when Juliana Pena, she got her new belt, and Joe Rogan asked her about Kayla Harrison. And in a move that I've never seen this before, they split the screen. They show Kayla Harrison watching backstage and Juliana Pena talking about her, and she just dismissed her. She's like, "What do you think about your match with Kayla Harrison? Amanda Nunes, get out of retirement." It's like, what are you talking about? Like, you have a legit challenger right here.
Her being a somewhat unlikable. She just doesn't have that charisma where you're like, wow, I want to hear her talking more.
Ooh, what an exciting idea I didn't consider.
I can't wait to hear what she has to say. So, and I did have that with Rhonda Rousey. She said she was rude and she was a little bit vulgar, but I loved watching her.
Her matches were awesome.
Yeah, I loved watching her, and she said crazy things, but you're like, what's this crazy girl gonna say now? And then she'd go and drop some woman on her head and break her arm.
And Kayla Harrison's not saying anything crazy. She's like, well, I won the Olympics. I've been training my whole life, so I'm going to win. It's great. She goes out there, she does it. Even if her fight wasn't like the most exciting one, every moment something could have happened. And so just having that in the air produces excitement. Kevin Holland unfortunately got injured in his match. That was a bummer.
Yeah, so the Kevin Holland Dolize fight, and I can speak to this a little bit. I've had a similar injury before from twisting and my rib popping out of the cartilage. It still sticks out a little bit now. But Holland looking pretty good on the feet. Holland was piecing up Dolize a little bit, and Dolize went and took him down.
Holland was in full guard for a while, and then he went up. They're saying he was going for an armbar, but like there was nothing to it. He just kind of did that.
It looked like he tried to go for the armbar.
Did like the armbar motion, and then he was getting his guard passed, and he tried to make a motion, and it was something in here.
Yeah,
his rib just popped.
It's just that twist.
And then he cut him down in full mount, getting beat up. Yeah. And then between rounds, his coach was asking him, like, do you want to continue? Do you want to continue? Do you want to continue? And then the coach called it for him. Was like, all right, we're not doing this.
And shout out to the coach for doing that, because Holland, his pride would have just made him do it, and it
so
wouldn't have been good.
Just a bummer, you know. He was losing the fight based on being beat up in his full guard.
Yeah.
Kevin Holland, he's had amazing come from behind victories before. It wasn't a lost cause. And it's unfortunate for Dolize. He could have gotten like a big highlight reel finish or something more spectacular.
Yeah.
And it's just a bummer.
Ovince Saint Preux, in his last fight on his contract, he went against Ryan Spann, and kind of poetic in that Ovince Saint Preux ended up getting guillotined, which Ovince Saint Preux is a genius at turning the guillotine choke into a Von Flue choke and putting people to sleep. Yeah. But it didn't work this time, A, because he was on shaky legs from being almost knocked out, and 2, because he was on the bottom of the guillotine, and the Von Flue choke does not work from the bottom of the guillotine. And it was a super tight, super aggressive guillotine thrown on by Ryan Spann. I loved how he did it. This is like a man after my own heart. Just see the head and just jump on it and squeeze it, and that's what he did. And it was so tight. The tap came so fast. So shout out to Ryan Spann. He was one of the performances of the night. Yeah, great fight. Quite a night. UFC 307. Grappling was being attacked left and right, being attacked by the refs, being attacked by the crowd, being attacked by the boss. No grappling. We don't want grappling, but we also don't like kickboxing.
What do you mean?
I'm saying people don't like kickboxing. It's funny. Like Alex Periera. Imagine if people love kickboxing, Pereira and Adesanya could have stayed in kickboxing and made their money.
I've never seen anyone say, "Hey, there's a good Glory event coming
Never.
up."
Nobody even knows what Glory is. Just go outside and say you watch the Glory event.
But you could also look up Glory highlights on YouTube, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So.
What do you guys want?
Yeah. They just want no holds barred blood sport.
What does that mean? Bar fights?
No, it's just the idea that it's no holds barred, but we don't hold each other. Grappling.
Huh?
Grappling's trash.
Should watch AEW, guys. Pro wrestling's better. UFC's fake. Jiu-jitsu doesn't work. Someone wrestles, you boo them. Send them through tables, chair shots.
True that.
Pro wrestling's better.
Poatan, he cuts his hair because he just doesn't want to look like a nice guy while he's fighting.
He said that?
Yeah, he says when he has his hair, it makes him look like a good guy. So when he's fighting, he has to be ready for war. He cuts his hair before a fight. Because if you notice, you see him in his social media, he starts to get like a little afro. But yeah, when it's fight time, he cuts it because that's his wartime ready hairstyle.
Oh.
So maybe that's what I need to do next time.
You? Hair's too nice?
Next competition, wartime ready.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Type Hey BJJ, Marshall Stamper, Tarek Finn, typeheybjj.com. Like us, subscribe to us. It boosts our ego.
Please.
You could dislike us, leave comments, tell us that we suck.
Oh my God.
Anything.
Don't say I suck, please. I can't handle. Don't say I'm skinny. Don't mention that I farted. Please. Please.